So please raise your hand if you think that flexibility is important for a successful energy transition. That will be an easy one. So the question is, as we're all believers, why is it not happening, right? And we see three core problems. The first is technology. You need technology just to optimize something behind the meter or your grid scale battery, whatever. The second issue that we have is access to markets. If you have an asset, who provides you with access not to one market, but to TSO organized markets like ancillary services, balancing mechanisms, wholesale, some maybe OTC structures. And the third one is very important, it's profitability, because most new technologies struggle with costs and with revenues before they reach mass rollout, right? And I'm Jürgen Mayerhofer, I'm CEO and co-founder of Enspired, and today I will tell you what we do to mitigate these problems or solve them, and how far we are in the journey. And I want to start with actually a super old picture. I've shown that for the first time 2016, when the algorithmic trading for short-term power markets came up, and I presented it in front of the biggest utilities in Europe, and we told them at the event that they don't need any traders anymore if they buy our software. So we were a software vendor. And eventually, 3 years later, we had around 40 customers, and they were right. They still had a lot of traders. So technology alone doesn't solve the problem. We then sold the company to Toronto Montreal Stock Exchange and founded Enspired. And we founded Enspired with the goal to optimize as much flexibility as possible on a global scale, and providing or solving all 3 points. The first one is, how do you create a business technology that is so different from what the energy industry is used to do so far? And it starts with a team. So we have grown in 3.5 years to 54 people, 18 nationalities, distributed over 5 countries. And what's so unique about Enspired is that we're actually a software company from a cultural perspective, from a daily workflow perspective. So we proved the utilities wrong, right? Nobody has ever been sitting in front of screens and buying and selling or doing whatever, or taking trading decisions right from the beginning. It was forbidden, no screens, just for programming, of course. So we solved the technology issues by building everything in-house, having the whole IP, the hands on the full software stacks, which would also allow us different business models in the future. And the second topic is, how do we give access to the market? So we're not a software company, we're an energy trading company. We are registered at power exchanges, with contracts with TSOs. We have partners who help us offer floor pricing, fixed pricing, etc. So we can deliver the full service, no matter if you're an energy fund that builds grid scale batteries, or if you're a virtual power plant that optimizes behind the meter batteries. And the magic more or less happens in between. So we connect assets, like the energy management system, which tells us the container temperature, whatever, with all the data that we have. A lot of data, billions of data points, and execute in real time on the market, wherever possible. There is some auctioned markets, etc., where we have to bid at certain times. And this is where the value comes from. So the benefits for our customer is more profits. I'll give you one example. We trade large-scale batteries in Germany, where we are 40 to 60% above pure ancillary services marketing, which is what people do in Germany at the moment for a wide variety of assets. We give full transparency, so you get a real-time dashboard, so you can take your iPhone, watch how your asset is doing, and don't underestimate that people get addicted to dashboards. And so we offer the full package for different customer groups, I would call them. So at the moment we work with big utilities. Of course, they have assets that we like to have. So we work from the top 4 in Germany to also smaller utilities in different countries. We work with asset developers, an emerging customer group for us, because all the renewable and PV developers want to build co-located battery storage to hedge their revenues, to get a better capture rate, etc. and there is not like a long-term offtake agreement, like a PPA or so. So battery storage is a pretty new thing for them, and they don't know how to touch it. There's even assets standing around unmanaged, believe it or not. Virtual power plants, we've, for example, worked with Tesvolt, building a virtual battery of CNI scale battery storage, all behind the meter. Tesvolt is the biggest player in the German CNI scale battery market. But we also offered, for example, for a large PV plus battery portfolio in Spain. So this market is really taking off, and you need a variety of partners that help you with the specific geographies, regulations, etc. And that's what we built. So this is some of our reference customers. Last but not least, where we are now, we are managing around 450 megawatts of assets, have grown our energy storage portfolio in the last 8 or 9 months to way over 100 megawatts, mainly in Germany, to be honest. We're working on other markets, negotiating contracts. A good side effect, because nobody buys our service, to be honest, just for the emissions, but it's very important for us as a company, it's very important for you as investors, is the emissions that we saved. So our customers see it in real time, basically in their dashboards. We optimize with roughly 10 billion data points, so training our machine learning models, doing simulation spec tests, optimizing parameters, and just recently submitted a patent for the approach that we have, because it's not only about the technology and software, it's really about maximizing or better utilizing an existing asset. Yeah? So even if you have an existing battery storage, we can get more money out of it without you investing more capex. And so due to the high demand, we're looking not directly for financing, but we're open to it, because the market trend, especially in the space of the energy storage and behind the meter, would require some product developments to go faster. There is a lot going on with the Inflation Reduction Act in the US, which we cannot achieve with the current setup. If you have questions, we're here today, tomorrow. Thank you.